Hello, this is Renee Rice. I'm pleased to be here with you today. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you again in person soon. And our presentation today is going to be on emerging trends with a focus on 2022 innovations and sustainability. I'm a global trend hunter. I have my own company called Toy Trends, and I'm also a part of the trend committee at Spielwarenmesse. We're 13 members strong. We get together and talk about all the trends around the world. And I'm also the co-president of the International Toy Trade Magazine Association. I attend about 24 trade shows a year in a normal non-pandemic year, and I speak at about 20. So I've been to a lot of virtual conferences also, so I know what you're going through on your end. My contact information will be on the screen at the end. If you have any questions for me, you can contact the team. All right, we've only got 45 minutes, so let's get started. All right. First, we're going to talk about the Metaverse, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and cryptocurrencies. And why are we going to talk about them? Because it's having a big impact on the industry. So now we have the slide that has the big screen on it. Now we're going to look at why should we be talking about it. So next. Let's first make some definitions for the metaverse, NFTs, and cryptocurrencies, because for many people, it's completely new to them. So what is the metaverse? In short, it's a virtual reality world where your personal avatar can go to school, play games, watch concerts, browse stores. You can meet sociably with people in a three-dimensional world. And either you can go there to play games, go to parties, and just meet up with people. So what is an NFT? Well, it's called a non-fungible token, which is a weird word. It means that these exclusive, one-of-a-kind digital objects are blockchain-based with a certificate of authenticity for your individual digital item. And it'll be your proof of ownership of goods in the metaverse. Now, next, what's a cryptocurrency? It's actually a digital currency that uses encrypted technology to protect from counterfeiting. It's stored in a digital wallet, and the digital currency is actually protected from counterfeiting and duplication. And the quantities are strictly limited. There's many versions. There's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's Dogecoin, there's just so many different ones. But that's the basics. So let's take a look at why you should even care about this. I mean, it all sounds so technical. Why is it of importance to us? The thing is that all of your competitors have already entered this playground, or not all of them, but many of them. And due to the pandemic, the consumers who have really moved to the online entertainment as a form of escape and to meet socially with others. Kids entered the online world because they had to go to school. They had to do online schooling. And during the pandemic, it also was a social connection tool, and it helped them to escape boredom. Now, consumers, they rushed to online shopping, both for their payments, for getting products, and for signing up for subscription-based services, whether it's online gaming, streaming subscriptions, remote work, they were all online. So they got used to it pretty quickly, or else things weren't going to get done. Kids, families, adults, all of the consumers are now playing in these online playgrounds and used to using digital payments. The other reason is that big tech is investing in online entertainment in a big way. Let's look at some examples. Big technology, where the owners of these metaverse worlds and the studios that cooperate with them have made a lot of online entertainment investments in the last few years. And it really exploded over the internet, over the pandemic time. So acquisitions of tech gaming and their development companies that build the tech has been strong. Now that's mobile gaming companies, as well as video gaming companies, and the people who make those games for your PCs and for your laptops. So in annual 2020, the acquisitions actually added up to 8.9 billion. By end of 2021, it tripled. It was then $26.3 billion of investment in these kind of companies in acquisitions. Last month in January, in the entire month of January, $89.6 billion was spent, which was 3 times more than the entire year before that. Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, which is all more about video gaming, for $75 billion. Billion dollars. Take-Two Interactive bought Zynga Mobile Games because they wanted to play in the mobile game area, and Zynga was a player there. So they bought them for $11 billion. Sony Entertainment, Interactive Entertainment, bought Bungie game development because they wanted to be a part of the game. They have their system with PlayStation 2, and they were locked out of some different games. So they bought the company that was making the games, so now they can have them. So altogether, $90 billion in 1 month. Plus, I was at the CES show in Las Vegas earlier this month, and I attended the speech on the top trends in the industry. So subscriptions to online streaming services exploded. By the end of the year, Netflix had 214 million subscribers. Amazon Prime Video had 175 million. Disney Plus, who was only around for a short time, had 118 million. And Apple TV fared less. They had 20 million subscribers. But altogether, if you just do a quick calculation of approximately $10 per subscription, and most of them are more than that, it comes out to $5.3 billion. That's a lot of people watching streaming TV and streaming videos. So this means kids, everyone is doing it. Next slide. Okay, some of these metaverse worlds are merging with toys already. So these are some of the people that are already out there. American Greetings changed their name to Cloudco Entertainment, and they are the owners of Care Bears and a lot of other properties like Snoop Dogg, etc. But in 2020, they went into one of these metaverse worlds called the Sandbox, and they brought the Care Bears in there because kids were playing in there as well as adult collectors. This year, in spring of 2020, they've partnered because they're the ones who own the Care Bears property. They went to Recur, and Recur is building some official NFTs of never before seen Care Bears. So people are going to want to go in and buy those Care Bears and have them in their digital wallet or have them available. So that's something new that's happening. To the right, Warner Brothers Games is launching their multiverses. For DC Comics, Scooby-Doo, all of the different characters that they have in their portfolio of products are going to be in this multiverse. And it's another playable metaverse that's going to be there. Roblox is one of the biggest and one of the ones that grew the fastest over the last couple of years. And WowWee has gone into one of the places in their world called Twilight Daycare, and they're going to be introducing toys and games within the daycare online, as well as products for consumers to buy offline and play with. Next. So now we look at how are people using it as a marketing tool. So YouTube videos are hot with kids. They love going there for tutorials, for funny videos, for watching their favorite streaming content. And it also is a place that unites fans. For example, Baby Shark, if you remember the do, that has been played over 10 billion times. They broke the record for YouTube in January of 2022. Their first record they broke in 2020, and that was they hit 7 billion views. But within another year and a half, they have 10 billion views. So that was introduced from a company in South Korea. Baby Shark was introduced by Pink Fong. And since then, there's a huge licensing program out there, and it's been seen around the world, and the product is everywhere. One thing that people are doing is they're working with companies who know how to work with kids and work with studios. So Super Awesome is one of those companies. And they work together with MGA and with LOL Surprise to come up with a gaming some games on on phones so that kids could go in and create a wish list. They could share their favorites. And they were so engaged with having fun with other kids on there that parents saw that their kids were engaged and they liked it, and they actually went out and bought them more LOL stuff. They could see an instant return from this. MGA saw an instant return. Now, this company, Super Awesome, actually protects kids. Like, they know all of the ins and outs of how to do things. So if you go into the universe, these metaverses, and you build a world or a game or something in there with your name on it, you're being visible one more time in front of those kids. Okay, next slide. The metaverse has online objects and games, but people have licensed those to make physical products as well. Minecraft was bought by Microsoft in 2014, has exploded. Kids love it, and those kids are growing up now, so they're going to metaverses and other metaverses as well to see things. With Activision buying the Activision, Microsoft buying Activision, they've also added Candy Crush and all of the different games that are in the portfolio for Activision. There's also an Among Us virtual reality game that a lot of people are playing. They have little characters that go with it. You can see on the side there's a bunch of the little characters. There's rare characters. There's ones you can only find in certain areas, and there's chase characters. So it's a fun activity to do offline and online. And in fact, they even had an advent calendar at Christmas time because it allowed the collectors to get some special things that they otherwise wouldn't get. Okay, next slide. There's other toyetic metaverse worlds that tap into strong physical play patterns. For example, Hasbro has built a Roblox Monopoly game. They've built some Nerf blasters that mirror the products that kids find as blasters in the game. There's constantly new places to build and to grow in these worlds. Roblox has hundreds of different activities and games for kids, and lots of ways for people to partner with them. Disney is introducing their Mirrorverse mobile game. And what they do is they take a lot of these characters and they put them in fun situations. And McFarlane has partnered with Disney, and they've made these fully articulated figures. So there's Mickey, Sully, Belle. There's a number of characters that are also coming out in the second edition in the spring and then into the fall. Funko, who used to just make action figures, the small action figures with the big heads, that very popular around the world, they're now doing Funkoverse Marvel games. So they have a board game that has mini characters in there. So people may just collect it for the mini characters, but you can play with all the characters there in the board game. They have card games. They have all kinds of ways that they're now expanding their world through licensing, and they're reaching into these worlds. Okay, next. Animal Crossing, which is a very popular game with kids, one of the most popular games with kids, has partnered with Video, which is a brand by Lego. They've built a video dream island. So when you go into this Animal Crossing world, you can cross over to this island that's all about this Lego video product. Now, there's an app. Before they even went into doing this with Animal Crossing, there was an app for Lego Video where kids could buy the product. They would have these little beat chips that would make the music, and they could add the music to their videos. And as you see in the screen there, you can add confetti, you can add sound, you can add dancing. The little characters come to life in the video as well. So it's a way that, you know, kids are getting involved. So for right now, Lego's concentrating their activity into this Animal Crossing world that's online. And next year in 2023, they're going to come out with some more new products tied into this world. So they're looking at it in a different way, getting into the video metaverse world. They have the products out there. Now they're going to the world, and then they're going to come back. Next, we have viral creators. Kids want to have their own great videos with TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and they want to have good lighting. They want to have their own backgrounds. So studio creator Video Maker 2 by Canal Toys in the US created a kit where they have a green screen behind them. They've got a light that gives them the professional lighting, and it's a stand and a tripod that they can put their phones on. And kids are loving this. It gives them professional quality, especially teenagers are loving it. The product in the middle, Let's Go Studio, actually has neon colored materials. It's like fabric and stencils, and you can make this stuff, attach it to headbands, glasses, your clothing, and you come to life in the light. And you can add, there's lots of different lights you can change from blue to green to red to neon yellow, and act out with your friends and make really cool glowing videos. Another thing that kids love is photography. So the Kitty Zoom print cam by VTech, a Hong Kong-based company, if you remember the old Polaroid cameras, this is kind of like you get a picture, you get it instantly. It's not locked in the camera. Kids always said, oh, where's that picture? It's only digital, I can't play with it. So now they can print it out, they can color it, they can give it to their friends, and they can keep track of it. PixieCade is another product that offers kids the opportunity to make their own mobile games. So kids learn how to draw a mobile game, like how to set it up, what are the characteristics and the mechanics of building a mobile game. They actually build it, then they build it in on the screen, and then they animate it and it comes to life. So they can play, they can do physical activities, they can do gravity games, and they can share the games and things on a very safe gallery with their friends and family as well. So kids are loving it. It was one of the award nominees for the Toy Award as well. Okay, next. As we know, in the past, the whole unboxing trend was huge. So Ryan of Ryan's World used to unbox other people's toys. He liked it so much that he decided which toys he liked best, and he started making his own product line. So not only does he view and watch other people's products and unbox for kids, he also shows his world of products and is selling it and making more millions online. Well, his little sisters got into the game, so now they have EK World, which is Emma and Kate, and they're making products that are more tuned into girls because they felt that Ryan's products are more tuned into boys. Down below, Love Diana is another little girl who's very excited about unboxing and seeing things on the internet. She made a line of dolls and a line of doll friends. So now she has a lot of diversity in her range. In the US, it's Far Out Toys, and in the UK, it's represented by Wow Stuff. A third brand by Playmates Toys are two little boys called Vlad and Nikki. And they've done a lot of unboxing too, and they've done a great job at it and built up their YouTube influencer site. Plus, they've started building their own toys as well. So these kids who are playing with toys are now becoming toy inventors and developers as well. Okay, next. Let's look at some tech toys that teach. There's new products out there that we know that kids are getting a little tired of what they're learning in school and having to do homeschooling. And around the world, there's still kids that are homeschooling because of the pandemic. So different companies have come up with fun ways for kids to learn either in school or not. So Smart Lab came up with the ultimate squishy human body. So there's a base skeleton and then all the parts that go onto it, but it also has smart scan technology. So you can get an augmented reality view. Once you put it together, you get an augmented reality view of what it actually looks like inside the body and how those pieces and parts work. Secondly, the 3D Doodler Start is a way to build three-dimensional creative ideas with a pen. So you use different fiber that you put into the pen. This little girl happens to be making a robot. You can build an Eiffel Tower, a bicycle, all kinds of things. And in fact, with the 3D Doodler, there's an adult version where you can make jewelry. You can make all kinds of things that people are using to sell on Etsy as well. The Osmo Genius Starter Kit has 7 to 10 different games that you can play as a family or that kids can play on their own. Now, there are lots of fun games, but there's also games for math, science, gravity, learning language. So there's lots of different ways. You use your own iPad or device that you have at home, but you get all of these hands-on tools to play with. And Osmo has been around for a while, but they've created this whole new set to engage kids. Okay, next slide. World skills, global citizens. Kids are learning about the world They're learning about climate change. They're learning about different countries and regions of the world. So the company Blue Marble Toys in Australia is building incredible science and space exploration kits and lots of things where kids can learn how to do geodes and make crystals. And they are very affordably priced, but they come in beautiful giftable boxes, and there's lots of experiments in each box, and they're tied to Nat Geo, National Geographic as well. So they have done a great job of pulling together a range of products. In fact, the guy who is running their team actually used to work for Marbles, the toy store. So he's just incredible. Scott does a great job. Okay, next. Some other emerging trends in technology that are going to affect the way we do things. And for example, these headsets, these VR headsets that people are using for gaming in the metaverses. If you look at the picture there of the kid, you can see how huge that headset is on a kid. Their neck is going to get tired playing with this. They really shouldn't be playing more than 15 minutes at a time anyway, because it's just affects, you can get headaches playing the games for a long time. But if you play it as games and not using the VR headset, it's still a lot of fun. The glasses that are on the bottom there are much lighter. They're a mixed reality glass. So they use augmented reality, some virtual reality, but they give kids and people 120-degree look instead of 180-degree look. They're much lighter to wear. And this company that developed them, Third Eye Generation, actually makes the hardware and the software for these mixed reality smart glasses. In fact, they've developed an entire platform called the Remote Eye Platform that is being used in factories, in medical centers, in telehealth, so that people can remotely go to work, do their job, do their telehealth visits, or as a doctor, meet with the clients, without having to actually drive into work. So they've developed this carbon footprint score so people can track how much they're offsetting their carbon footprint by having their workers work remote. So it's kind of an interesting way to score how you're doing. On the right-hand corner, the medical industry is using these mixed reality tools. They're using VR and AR for both patient care and doing telehealth visits, but also for nurses and doctors in training that are in their residency. So they can actually do virtual operations and see what they need to do without having to work on real people to start out with. So it's a nice way for them to train and to get that education, especially in places that have less funding. In the lower right-hand corner, artificial intelligence is also changing the online payment process for retailers, for consumers, and it's making fraud detection much easier, security within the store better so you have less pilfering, a way to track your consumers with contactless payments. All these things can be done on an affordable level with small retailers, and maybe only have one or two retailers, or it can be scaled up to retailers that have huge amounts of stores across the country or across the world. So these are just some of the ways that technology is being used. Okay, next slide. There's also emerging fashion trends in technology for clothing. There's different fabrics and fibers that are being used. There's whole companies that have been built on sustainability and using fabrics and factories and new materials that were never used before, using just different ways to manufacture, and also making sure that the workers are getting a fair trade wage and great factory benefits. Up in the right-hand corner, you see the lady with the yellow dress and all of those stylishly modeled avatars. In many places now, when you go onto these metaverses, you can, update your avatar in the clothes that they have there available for free, or you can buy NFT clothes, or you can buy NFT upgrades for your avatar that give them a more fashionable look, whether it's boots, hats, dresses, clothes, that gives you a unique look when you're playing online. Also, even on Roblox, they have a Gucci garden. So they also have bought into the luxury market in terms of appealing to people. And you'll be seeing more stores and shopping and things online as well that people can go play in that metaverse. Next. Sustainable transportation was a topic also at the CES show. There's a company in Brazil who's actually unveiled 4 new aircraft that they're working on. So it's concept aircraft at this time, but they're being explored to help the industry achieve the whole net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Now, some of these planes can have 9 people in them, some of them up to 50 passengers. But the goal is to offset that carbon footprint and not use fossil fuels. So they've got hydrogen fuel cells, they've got gas turbines, they've got electric planes, and it's all being discussed right now. Airbus also went in September 2020, and they also said that they're investigating this. And at the CES show, which was earlier, the beginning of the month of January in Las Vegas, I was there, and they unveiled by John Deere an autonomous self-driving tractor. So it can go and seed the fields for the farmers while they're out buying fields, doing different things, handling the livestock on their farms. It can go and seed their farms. It can also do weeding. They have special ones that are designed, special attachments for vineyards versus planting on the ground versus low-end crops versus high crops that grow taller like corn. So it's a whole new world. It's very interesting. And it was talked about a lot at the show, how this, and I think Siemens is doing the same thing in Europe. So there's a lot of people looking at these different alternatives to ways that we can do jobs differently and free people up to do other jobs that they're better at. Okay, next slide. Different sustainability topics. Matter is a new standard of smart home technology where people can use the same standardized systems in open SDKs or development kits, and it's being embraced by big companies: Amazon, Apple, Google, Philips, Samsung. So when someone's trying to buy something for their home, the Samsung TV can talk to and work with the lighting in your home that may have been set up by Philips, or your smart devices that your Alexa, your Google Assistant, your Echo. So all of these things will be able to work together. There's over 200 companies now that are tied together for this. Sustainability, looking at different materials. WowWee has a new pop-up Barbie Playhouse, so they've partnered with another toy company, Mattel, to come up with a branded dream house. It's made out of really thick, sustainable cardboard. It's all made from recycled materials, etc. And you can build it up and then fold it flat again, and then build it up again and fold it flat. They even have a slide that kids can go down a slide, and it's also one of these pop-up products. The sustainability pledge for Pledge to Action, there's a lot of different conferences going on now across various industries, whether it's home, hotel, health, and they're all looking at what are the ways that we can work together to be sustainable and build our industries to be sustainable. The whole pandemic, and when people saw the effects that it had on the environment with people staying at home so much, it made a big difference to people, and it made a big difference to kids too. Okay, next. Toys Go Green is our huge mega trend for the Spielwarenmesse 2022. We have a trend committee of 13 different members across different regions of the world, from whether it's in Europe, Scandinavian or Northern Europe, North America, South America. We've got Korea, China, and we all talk together about what are the trends that are happening. And as we discussed it, we were able to take that sustainability and break it into 4 key concepts. Discover sustainability, inspired by nature, made by nature, and recycle and create. So on the next slide, this is a little bit of an explanation of how we break this out. Made by nature are toys that are really made from more natural materials: wood, bamboo, cork, traditional materials for making sustainable products, fabric, felt, rubber wood, things that are found in nature. And I'll have a slide for each one of these to give you some examples of some toy companies that are doing this. The Inspired by Nature looks at environmentally friendly toys that are using bio-based plastics, renewable forested raw materials. And I'll give you some examples of how they're doing that. Recycle and Create is more about reduce, reuse, recycle, upcycle, and reusable sources. Everything that supports a circular economy and that also supports not spending more, carbon emissions to make things. Teaching kids how to use recycled materials to make playthings and to do things differently. And lastly, Discover Sustainability is about learning through play, educating, inspiring kids with relevant toys and tools and experimental hands-on kits. So let's take a look at some of these products. Next slide. Made by Nature. One of the companies in Spain, Cocoletis, and this is one of the companies that was a Toy Award nominee as well. They have a double puzzle. It's like a double layered puzzle. On the top of the puzzle is what the beehive looks like from the outside. But when you pull off the outer layer, you can see what the beehive looks like on the inside. And what's interesting is they've used a variety of different woods. They didn't paint the woods, they didn't color the woods, they just used different woods for their colors and textures and grains so that you get these different light and darker woods in the product. Beautiful, beautiful product. On the bottom, the Maxi Barbecue Mud Kitchen ties into another trend. So not just using heritage wood products, but also the trend of cooking and cooking at home. So it has a barbecue, it has a grill, it has an oven. It comes with tools for the kids. There's wheels so you can move it around the yard or around the home. And it teaches, it's just a role play item, but it's made completely of wood. It's very beautifully done. Bamboo Dinosaurs by Ever-Earth in the UK uses bamboo wood to create these beautiful dinosaurs, and they use felt to add different accents, like on the Stegosaurus and the different ones. So the kids can play with products developed from bamboo. In the center is the Timber Tumble game, which is a skill and action game, really, a skill game by Plan Toys. And all the colors that you see there are made from natural stains that are non-toxic, using fibers and plants to come up with the colors. And on the very right-hand side, the soft felt building kit. This one is beautiful felt, very thick felt, and it uses a snapping technology to tie it together. This was also a nominee for the Toy Award that were actually announced this morning, the different winners of the Toy Award. Okay, next. We have a few more Made by Nature products. Families are looking for things that are non-toxic for their babies, non-organic cottons, woods that are not treated, that are using natural woods, because those things are going in kids' mouths. They're teethers and rattles and pram chains and things that little ones are playing with. And so Einhorn has come up with a kit that's a giftable kit. Right below that is My First Infant Playthings by a company in Sri Lanka called Takiri. They have 100% Havia rubber wood products from sustainable forests, and all of these are available for kids from 0 and up. So there are little characters they can teeth on, they can play with, they can bring into the bathtub, they can play anywhere with, and then they're easily washable. The Sophie the Giraffe from Vouly, France uses the same kind of Havia rubber wood, but from Malaysia factories instead of Sri Lanka. And they even batch code each individual giraffe so you can tell where it came from if you ever have to trace back. They take very seriously how the product is manufactured because they know it's going into the mouths of babes. The soft fabric and felt books are created by a company in Canada, but they're developed and created in Canada, but they're made in India. So the company Educating Amy is a Canadian company, but they wanted to find a way to support girls to go to school in India. So they hired women in India to make these books, and for every book they sell, they can send a girl to school in India for a month. So that's one of the ways that they're giving back to society, as well as having beautiful products made of sustainable materials. The form mix colorful cork blocks by corks are actually corks. So when you build, they kind of have a friction hold to each other, but they're very lightweight. They're soft. When they tumble, they don't make a lot of noise. So there's a lot of different reasons why these are beautiful and fun. Okay, next. Inspired by nature. These are the products that are made by bioplastics. So Viking Toys has decided to make all of their plastic products in their Econo line and many of their other product ranges fully 100% recyclable. The packaging is made from 100% recyclable materials and is also biodegradable. So it'll go back into the soil. So they've done a great job of introducing that range. The tableware by the company Lassig is beautiful to behold. It's, you know, plates and bowls and little spoons that kids can use to eat with and play with. So they can pretend play, and they can also use it for their real eating because it's made from non-toxic materials that that can be used in that way. And they're soft, they're beautiful. Another dinnerware set is made by Dan Toy in Denmark, and they make a whole range of toy products as well, just like Green Toys and a number of companies that make servingware for kids and for families, but they also make toys. Up on the right-hand corner, Tick Toys in Germany has this, uses an Argo blend of completely 100% bioplastic. And they're very flexible pieces that you can build into balls or creatures or whatever it is that you want to build. But you can actually use it as a ball and kick it around and play with it. And then you can tear it apart and build something new again. On the bottom, the colorful building blocks by BioBlo Austria is made using soy and different non-toxic paints and woods. And it's just a beautiful stacking toy for kids to be creative with. And it uses bioplastics, which is great. Recycle and create. There are companies in the US and around the world who are trying to build for their local communities. They also build for, you know, far away communities, but they get the recycled milk cartons. Both Green Toys on the West Coast and Luke's Toy Factory on the East Coast get their local supply of water, of milk jugs and yogurt containers, and they recycle them, clean them up, wash them, and make them into toys. Now, one fun thing about Luke's Toy Factory as well is that they use walnut shells and rice hulls and flax fiber and coconut shells. They use maple wood and different kinds of woods so that they've got their natural line and then they've got their colored line. But the colored line is also, once again, all non-toxic and easy for kids to play with, you know, easy to wash. And they're doing their part for sustainability. In the middle, the Begin Again Toys has had a mission to make products from corn-based bioplastic. They use sugar cane, sugar beets, and they have very whimsical, fun designs. They've done a couple of acquisitions over the years as well for puzzles and games and preschool toys and infant toys. And they've got a whole system for whether you're an artist or a detective, or they develop kits for kids who have different hobbies and things that they want to investigate. So it's a great company, and their owners are amazing. The Toy Eye Turkey company from Turkey is a relative newcomer to the market, but what they've done is they've created arms and legs and eyes and bands that you can attach to things like toilet paper rolls, egg cartons, water bottles, and reuse pine cones to make, you know, creative art that you can play with and make your own toys out of. So they did a great job of that. Okay, next slide. Cover sustainability. A number of companies are building products out of recyclable materials, recycled materials, biodegradable materials, but they're also teaching kids how to use them in the environment. The Organic Greenhouse by Clementoni, you can actually grow plants. You have little peat pods, you get seeds and seed pods and the tools to, you know, take care of your garden. So, and even the plastic that's on there is recycled plastic for your little greenhouse. Below it, the Eco House Build and Play set is all made from recycled materials, but it also uses the idea of solar panels for your pets and for your farm, and has a bicycle and and different instruction books on how to do different kinds of organic gardening and things. In the middle, by Cosmos Germany, they do wonderful kits for kids to learn about real science. And they've got an outdoor windmill experiment kit where you actually build a turbine, and the turbine can be used to power rechargeable batteries that you can put into a flashlight. And so kids, and there's a variety of different instructions. They always have wonderful instruction kits with lots of different activities. So kids can learn different ways for renewable energy. A company from Taiwan came out with a climate change, understanding global warming terrarium kit. So you can set it up for glaciers, you can set it up for plants and growing things. And it teaches the kids how the effect is when it's within that microchrome of a terrarium. You can see whether things grow or they don't grow, if they're treated, if they're not treated, what happens when it's hot and it gets heated up in that little terrarium. So it's a cool way for kids to learn. And even our youngest kids can learn with the Save Our Oceans kit by a new company from Sri Lanka. And these are all soft plush characters from the ocean or live near the ocean. The little play mat. The only thing that isn't made of recycled or recyclable materials is the zipper that holds that you zip the whole thing together so that you can carry it with you and keep everything in one place. Okay, next. There are certain manufacturers I wanted to give a shout out to who really have a mission for sustainability. They have it built into their mission statements, into the core of what they do. This company, Adventera Games, is a Swiss company. They also have a North American division. They opened a few years ago and they sell throughout Europe. They started with 4 games about global warming, how to power your home, water games, recycling, and they've built into a whole range of products now for preschoolers as well. So they have games and puzzles like Eating in Season to teach kids about how to shop locally, eat locally, so that you're not having to get strawberries from Latin America when you can be eating something that is seasonal, and that helps, for them to learn about managing their carbon footprint by eating and shopping local. The company Shore Buddies is based in San Diego, where I live, and they go out and get recycled fabrics, and recycled bottles that they collect from the oceans, and they go on walks with kids to collect these materials. They do classes for kids in the schools and the local schools. They have books that teach kids about conservation, ocean conservation, and they also give money back to charity. So since they started, both of these companies have done a great job with that. 2 more companies that I really like that have really built sustainability into their core are the Bears for Humanity. They're completely organic certified. They use organic fabrics, organic stuffing. And when they started, every product that you bought, every bear that you bought, they gave and donated another bear to a child who was less fortunate, who couldn't buy a bear of their own. They were a for-profit company, but recently they turned into a non-profit because they want to give all their money back to the kids in need. And I think that that's amazing. They have, they use recycled materials. They use all of the standards by organic textile companies, etc. The other company is Plan Toys. They've been around over 40 years. And not only do they make beautiful wooden products, bamboo products, rubber wood products, but their factory is sustainable. Their workforce is taken care of. They use soy inks. They use solar energy. And every year they're trying to improve their manufacturing, improve what they're doing, and do a better job. So hats off to them for doing such a great job. Next slide. A company in Germany that just came out with a new product range that I fell in love with when I saw it at the Astor show this year was, they've created a wonderful wooden range for kids of beautiful heritage toys, but their packaging really stood out to me because their packaging is being used as both a giftable package. When you give it as a gift, it looks beautiful. You use it as a garage for their vehicles, for their wheeled vehicles, for their playset characters, and they've also partnered with Penguin Books in Germany, and they're looking to do the same around the world in different countries, America, etc., where they have a series of books that tie into the 6 different characters in their range, which is they all have a disability or, a challenge of in some way that they overcome, and they all work together as a team to help each other out. So I really like that range. I want to give them a shout out. Lego with the garden and greenhouse, Lego Ideas kit that came up from a fan developed this, and it got over 10,000 votes. So hopefully it'll be made into a toy for 2022 or 2023. But they have fans that submit ideas, and they're using these bioplastics. In fact, Lego has done, they've made a commitment. They started in 2012, coming up with bioplastics and trying to figure out ways to make all of their bricks from bio materials and bioplastics. And their goal was by 2025 to have all their packaging be recyclable or of recycled materials, and by 2030 all of their products. They also took their factory and made all their factories run on renewable energy. They had a goal of 5 years, but they beat it. They did it in 2 years. They already have green botanical elements in many of their kits. Their Friends 10th Anniversary Treehouse is a product that they've also used to talk about sustainability with a turbine engine and a bee hut, etc. Okay, next. The family togetherness indoors and out. I'm going to go a little quickly now because I'm running out of time. So the family togetherness indoors and out is something that grew out of the pandemic, but families are wanting to do this together and are loving doing this together. So whether it's bubbles outdoors, which I love, building forts, or going out and playing together as a family, target practice, rock climbing, etc., lots of fun for families. Retro and classic, only 2 slides left. So retro nostalgia was very big, both for kidults as well as for kids. And for example, the VW bus there made by Playmobil, all the details of what a VW bus looked like in the 60s and 70s. Retro brands like Pokemon just had its 25th anniversary last year, and they came out with a set that was sold out everywhere, very hard to get it, because Pokemon fans are diehard fans. Star Trek celebrated its 55th anniversary, and they actually, Noble House Collection built a 3-dimensional chess set, which looks very much like the props that were from the actual movie set and the TV shows. So people could pretend that they were like Spock and they're playing 3-dimensional chess. The Harry Potter Wizarding World chess set also has a special Snape character, and you can play with your favorite brands there. And Koosh is back. For those of you who grew up in the 70s and 80s, Koosh were great, and now they've got not only the Koosh balls, but different skill and activity games. And lastly, let's look at a little retro with a twist here. Squeaky balloon dino and dog that look like balloon animals. When you squeeze them, they have that same sound to them. There's a claw machine by Thames and Cosmos. Once again, couldn't find it anywhere in the 4th quarter because it was a sellout. Kids wanted to pretend that they were putting things in there and they were trying to capture them with the claw. And lastly, Basic Fun had these tiny TV classics that have remotes and TVs that look like the ones from whether it was the 50s, 60s, 70s, and a lot of fun for people. And there's little clips on the TVs, whether it was Batman or Friends or Back to the Future, and they're coming out with even more of these. Okay, so that was our quick whirlwind tour of trends for 2022, focusing on innovations and sustainability. Thanks for listening. And if you want to reach out to me, there's my address and my LinkedIn. Thank you very much.